In southern China, scientists have discovered several sinkholes hidden deep in the mountains, where something unexpected was beginning to take shape. Deep within these remote mountains, enormous trenches were being carved out. Scientists found what appeared to be a lost world, ancient forests inside China's sinkholes, each large enough to cover whole villages. Then, suddenly, billions of tons of fresh water began disappearing from rivers in southern China. This water loss wasn't just due to evaporation. China reportedly has around 50,000 rivers within its borders, and water seemed to vanish only to reappear in these massive basins. There was no clear explanation, and leaks did not confirm any facts. Rumors spread quickly, with speculation about a secret mega-city or something even more extraordinary, unlike anything previously known. As theories grew, the water kept flowing, and consequences soon followed, with incredible results. This mysterious large-scale project, hidden in plain sight for years, was detected through satellite images and aerial surveys, showing unusual activity in China's mountainous regions. Large, deliberate excavations appeared, each covering hundreds of acres, increasing in frequency. These trenches, some over 100 meters deep, were not caused by mining or natural erosion. Their careful locations along geographic contours and precise geometric shapes suggested a well-coordinated engineering effort. However, there were no formal announcements or explanations from government agencies, which only deepened the mystery. People wondered why such massive pits were being dug, especially since many were in areas with no history of industrial activity, but near natural water sources like lakes, rivers, and underground aquifers. The excavations lacked typical features of dams or reservoirs, no spillways or water diversion channels. The pits were large and appeared suddenly, leaving citizens puzzled. Some speculated wildly about the origins, but publicly available photos showed no signs of construction equipment or laborers. Thermal satellite scans showed no unusual heat signatures, ruling out nuclear or energy projects. Seismic data found no evidence of blasting like that used in mining. The excavation methods seemed unusual compared to typical civil engineering projects, and the pits appeared to form through a quiet, systematic process. When authorities finally responded, their comments were vague and dismissive. International media inquiries were met with generic statements about regional infrastructure projects, with no details. Domestic news avoided the topic entirely, despite the size and significance of the excavations. Academic researchers faced many obstacles investigating the sites. Drone monitoring was reportedly banned around the locations, and geographic data access was restricted, making independent verification difficult. Some leaked construction documents mentioned technical specifications for large underground storage, but gave no clues about the intended purpose. The pits showed no signs of integration with existing water systems or industrial use. No equipment transport links or infrastructure were visible. Their size and remote locations suggested a long-term, strategic plan, but no clear explanation has been given. Intelligence agencies reportedly assessed the excavations for security concerns, but released no public findings. Engineering experts questioned how such deep trenches could be excavated and maintained without drainage or visible structural supports, which goes against standard civil engineering practice. Ultimately, no one outside the government seemed to know the true purpose of these projects, and even within China, the final goal remains unclear. Before the project began, environmental organizations expressed concerns about the ecological impact of extensive terrain modifications. However, no environmental impact studies were made available for review. The disturbance of natural watersheds could potentially affect nearby ecosystems in a cascading way. The project's lack of transparency prevented a thorough assessment of its long-term risks or sustainability. A recurring question was, what was the ultimate goal? Despite significant investments of money, time, and preparation in digging trenches, their purpose remained unclear, an enigmatic alteration carved into the landscape. This mega-project remained speculative until formal disclosures were made. Rivers appeared to be disappearing rapidly. The massive pits were not the only sudden change in the Chinese landscape. Local farmers and fishermen were the first to notice. that small tributaries in the water-rich regions of southern China were draining much faster than before. What started as isolated complaints soon became a clear pattern. Riverbeds that had flowed steadily for centuries were drying up unexpectedly, with waters vanishing seemingly without cause. Satellite images confirmed this alarming trend. Entire streams were shrinking, some to mere trickles within weeks. This phenomenon contradicted typical drought cycles, as rainfall levels remained steady, and no severe weather events could explain the sudden drying. Hydrologists found the pattern puzzling. Instead of water loss occurring uniformly across whole basins, it was happening in precise, localized spots. Downstream sections dried up abruptly, as if an invisible valve had been shut, while upstream areas continued flowing normally. There were no landslides or earthquakes to explain these changes. Groundwater sensors detected unusual pressure variations near known fault lines, indicating some underground activity. The missing water appeared to be moving, but its direction was unclear. So where was the water going, and why was it disappearing only in specific locations? The answer remained elusive. In remote areas, construction workers reported the installation of large underground pipe networks, with diameters exceeding those of typical municipal water systems. Large tunnel boring machines were being transported under heavy security. When questioned, one engineer mentioned a device capable of redirecting entire rivers beneath mountains, but offered no further details. The ecological consequences were immediate. Wetlands, which serve as habitats for migratory birds, began to shrink where rivers no longer reached their natural endpoints. Fish populations declined sharply. Local officials issued vague warnings about temporary water adjustments and infrastructure upgrades, but gave no timelines for restoration. Some counties prepared emergency water deliveries, but did not explain the failure of natural water supplies. Experts noted that the locations of the mysterious mountain pits corresponded with the areas losing water, but no visible canals or pipes connected the two. If water was being redirected, it was through hidden routes invisible to the public. Geological survey teams reported worrying findings. Seismographs detected subtle, regular vibrations, traveling along predictable paths between dried river zones and excavation sites. These vibrations did not match typical construction or tectonic activity. The size of the underground tunnels would surpass any known civil engineering project. Some experts speculated these vibrations were caused by pressurized water flowing through the tunnels. Government statements remained cautiously neutral. Officials acknowledged the existence of water management projects when presented with evidence of disappearing rivers, but declined to define or explain their nature. Independent journalists attempting to visit affected areas found roads blocked by unmarked security forces. Chinese digital platforms swiftly removed drone footage showing construction and dried riverbeds. Citizens were once again urged to focus on other matters. The scale and speed of this large-scale water displacement were difficult for conventional scientific theories to explain. Even major dam systems could not match the rapidity and precision of these changes. The process appeared to involve technologies or methods beyond publicly known hydraulic engineering. As the phenomenon spread to other watersheds, the key question became, what required such vast volumes of water so quickly, and where was it being diverted? The quantities involved suggested uses far exceeding standard urban supply or reservoir refilling needs.